everyone. Today we're going to do a reading where I tap into the energy of your future children or child. You can pick all of the groups. You can pick 1, 2, whatever you want. But this is future children. And Corin just came to say hi. I'm sure she'll be jumping up. Okay, so this is group 1, group 2, and group 3. All right, let's get started. Okay, so group 1, your future baby, like your future child. It could be an Aries or a Libra. You could even be having twins. Because see, we have like the 2 of Wands and then the 2 of Swords. Cornica just jumped up. Okay, she's moving herself. Sorry. That's my cat, for those of you who don't know. She's always like involved in readings. Anyway, so your child, you could even be having twins because you got 2 of Wands and the 2 of Swords. Fire and air. This child is going to be, this child's got some strong energy. They're going to be fiery and very outspoken. See, because we have the blue and the red, so like this signifies throat chakra to me. This also signifies fire and the root. This person is going to be, this child is going to be very magnetic. They're going to manifest very easily and things are going to come to them very easily. Like, you might notice, so my best friend, her son is like a really strong manifester. And he likes to get those prizes where you don't know what's going to be inside. And he'll carry it around the entire time and he'll say what it's going to be. Like the last time he wanted a helicopter, so he kept saying this is going to be a helicopter, and it was. He wanted a helicopter. He was able to intuitively pick which one was going to hold the helicopter, and then he manifests that for himself. So that's how your child's going to be. It's going to be very easy for them to manifest the things they want, and you might notice that the more they talk about wanting something or the more they ask for something to happen, that it will actually happen. This is an old soul. Also, they could come from the star family of, they could be draconian in nature, they could be reptilian or draconian. Their soul is very old. Also, Cornica, stop it. Stop it. This, I'm going to go ahead and say that this child is going to have a very strong connection with the animals as well, because Cornica has been all involved in this so far. So they're going to have a strong connection with animals. Also, they're going to have, one of their totems could be a dog or a wolf. Yeah, they're going to run with those spirits. So these cards are going to tell me where they come from, where their soul is from. So we have Gaia, creation, and then we have Bridget, healing. So they could come from, their soul could be Celtic. Their soul is very old because it's connected to the nature, to Mother Nature in general, and to the earth. But I also think that they're fae, so they're going to have a very fae spirit, because Bridget is she's like a fairy, and then the fae are the keepers of the earth, and we have the earth here. So this is going to be a fae child. It's going to have Celtic roots. It could also have ancient Greek roots as well. But I think they're going to be Celtic, and I think that they may even have red hair, because look at that beautiful red hair. They're going to be pretty misunderstood. People aren't really going to get them, because this person is they're an old soul. and I don't think they're born to be understood. I think they were born to, to change the world, to make this world a better place, especially here with this Lemuria creating heaven on earth. But people just might not understand them because they're not supposed to be understood, because they're supposed to start new things. So like when there might be things that they like or things that they do that people don't appreciate or support at first, but they're going to pave the way for these new happenings. This child is also going to be a really good mix of light and dark, because as humans we are dual creatures, right? We embody dualities. So this child is going to have light and dark aspects like every human does, but I think they're going to balance them well. And they just told me they're going to run really deep. Really, really, really deep. Their roots, and they're very old soul. They come from the old times. They're still very closely connected to source. I think this person has had a moderate amount of lives, but probably not too many. They're not a young soul, like I said, but they might just have nice long periods of time before they're reborn, and like a vacation, but that's because they've ascended quickly. They have ascended master kind of energy, and it's they already it's a cakewalk for some people. For some people, being human is hard. For me, I think it's hard and boring. But for other people, it's yes, I've done this many times, and I've done it well this many times, so it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, but they're telling me that their dark side is gonna want to come out. They're very strong energy, and they just might have a period in their life where they're dealing with the shadow self. They might have a couple years where they have some mental health issues, or where they have to dive deep and kind of balance that out. But also, this child, while they're a child, they're going to be clumsy. They're gonna spill shit. They're gonna spill water. They're gonna spill, they might be playing in the bathtub, and then they just splash water everywhere, and they're clumsy and they spill a lot, and they're gonna need you to be patient with them, because they're not trying to spill. It makes them feel bad when they make a mess, and it makes them feel bad when they do this kind of stuff, but they just need you to be patient with them, because they're not doing it on purpose. It's an accident. And it's almost like they have such a strong energy. See, that is Tobrel of the Waters is what this one is, and she's just she's like a water fairy. She's cupping the water in her hands. But to me, that's kind of saying that there's such a strong energy that if you've seen Tinkerbell, I watched it with the boy I nanny. It's the water fairies, they can bend water. So it's their energy is so strong that they bend the elements around them and accidentally make a mess when they're a child, because they don't know how to control this energy, how to control this gift, how to work with this gift. So they're just going to end up making a lot of messes. They're going to be really creative and free spirit as well, so they're going to want to do crafts and art and stuff, and they're going to make a big mess. And they just need you to be patient with them. Okay, so these are going to be the challenges that this child is going to present to you, things that you might have a hard time, part of your lesson as being their parent, Okay, so the 9 of Discs and then the 6 of Cups. So this tells me that this child is going to be extremely, extremely independent, and they're not going to really want to listen to you, or they're not going to follow rules very well, because I said, they already feel like they've mastered this reality, this third dimension, and they feel obviously they're coming back for a reason. It might not be to ascend, it might be to help the earth ascend. So they feel like they know it all, right? They're I already been here, done this, I don't need to be here. You need me. That's why I'm here. And that strongly, that's how it makes me feel. And also past life, y'all, a lot of times they say our parents in this life were our children in our past life. So that's why we're here, constantly trying to, break the curses. So, so you, they might have been the parent in one of your past lives, and now you're the parent, and they're just having a hard time with that. And you have a hard time with that, too, because it's almost like they know things that doesn't make sense, that they would know it. It's that internal divine knowing that they have, and sometimes you're just what the fuck? How can they be better at this than me, But it's not that. It's just that they're a know-it-all, because they've lived enough, and they're still connected to source enough to be able to manipulate this reality, and that's exactly what this reality needs. It needs to be manipulated back into a state of balance, and that's why they're here. And then I got advice for you, and Lemuria, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. So this always reminds me of that movie, The Fifth Dimension, when she's like trying to create peace back on earth. But like, there's just, and when she's watching all the videos, she's just like seeing all the devastation and sadness and like horribleness that's on the earth, and she just can't. It's terrible, and it's sad. But so Spirit is just saying, like, there's a lot of bad shit going on, right? Like, we know there's lots and lots of bad shit happening in this world. But there's lots of good shit happening too. And Spirit's saying this baby is gonna be born so that they can continue this snowball effect of the good shit happening and creating a heaven on earth to kind of like repel the people who are trying to make this even more of a hell on earth than it already is, right? We're trying to go back to the old ways. We're trying to regain our power and remember that we're gods, right? We're incarnated gods and goddesses and angels, and we're wise ones. We've walked here before. We've been here before. All the babies being born now. We don't have time for fuck-ups, right? Like, that's why the addicts are dying. No shade to addicts, but, like, if you can't get your shit together, you can't stay. That's why, you know, just the piece of shit abusers are dying. That's why abuse is coming to the light, because the vibration is rising, and we don't have time for your bullshit no more. So this baby is being born to fucking put an end to the bullshit and to create new ways of being. Like, when you were born, you probably felt really different. It was before, like, the connections that we have with the internet today. Like, you probably felt really different. You probably felt like a black sheep. You probably felt like, you know, the stuff you like wasn't cool, and you didn't really have a way to connect with people who were also, you know, old souls who were connected to the spirituality and the ancient ones and the divining tools and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you're kind of like a crusader. You were one of the first people to come down, and then more and more and more babies since then have been born in this way. That we're not just birthing human babies anymore. We're birthing babies that are gods and goddesses, like I just said. So now, like, all the babies being born have a major purpose, but they can all relate more because none of them are terrestrial, right? Being terrestrial is just being human. All these babies that are being born are extraterrestrial. So I guess what Spirit is saying in all of this is that, like, it wasn't easy for you to be an indigo and to be different than others and to, like, pave the path. And it's going to be a very similar experience for this baby that you're birthing. They're going to be the black sheep, right? Because that's what this earth needs right now. But Spirit's just saying, like, they're not going to go through things the same way you did, because they're going to have much more of a connection to other black sheep, because this is a different time that we live in. So don't worry too much about them not finding their place. Their place and their people will come to them much more easily. And understand that it's all for a greater purpose. Everything, like, this baby is being born to help make the world a better place, and it's all for a bigger reason. That's your advice. Wow, group 1, that was some really big energy. Thanks so much for watching. Like, if you feel like it, subscribe if you feel like it. Leave me a comment if you feel like it, any of that shit, you know. And thanks. I hope to see you again sometime. I might have just drank a lemon seed. I'm really not sure. Thank you. Group 2. Okay, group 2. Wow, there's just like a really strong energy with this group. So, okay. So you got the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. And then okay. So this baby could be a Taurus. They're going to be stubborn as hell. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not going to want to budge. There's going to be, like, they're going to throw some serious tantrums, my dude, like, as a child, because they feel, like, from everything I feel from this, they feel everything so strongly. So, like, something, pain and trauma and everything like that are a spectrum, right? So, like, something that really physically hurts me might feel like nothing to another person because, you know, their pain tolerance is different. This little human is going to have a very low pain tolerance emotionally and physically, and they're going to have a lot of fear that they need to work through. As you can see, this eagle is bleeding onto those Two Pentacles, and I almost feel like this person could have had, this baby being born could have had an untimely death in a past life. They could have died from sickness. They could have died from an accident. They could have literally been murdered. Like, this was their soul, I can feel it. Their soul has some serious trauma that it's holding on to, and that's going to be something that you guys are going to really work through in this life. And Spirit wants you to know that, like, you're the parent that this baby is supposed to have. You're the only person on the planet who can understand their soul's, like, torment and trauma. And basically, they just told me alchemy. Basically, take it like turning the metal into gold, right? Turning this trauma into their power, turning the trauma into their strength. But yeah, there's like a lot of spiritualities believe that if we were killed in a past life, or, you know, hurt, like, in abusive relationships in a past life, that was a karmic debt that we never worked out. It's like your soul is just going to keep being either the victim or the murderer until you figure that shit out. Like, I've heard of lots of reincarnation stories of people literally remembering being, like, in the Holocaust and the people who killed them, and then they, like, meet that person in their life, and a lot of times they'll have other dreams about being murdered, you know, by people, like, in a past life, because they were murdered in a past life, or they had some sort of untimely death. Now, it doesn't have to be that. It could be, like, a sickness thing, or just, like, an accident, like a car accident. Even so, that's still being murdered, right? Like, you're killed before your time. But yeah, so this life is important to them because their time was cut short last time, and they just have a lot of work to do because they have a lot of, like, all the karmic debt that they had in their life before their untimely death was not resolved. So they have any pains and karmic debts from before they died, any that they were supposed to finish in that period of time which they were supposed to be alive but were killed too soon. And so they have all of those traumas and karmic debt, and then they have an entire lifetime's worth of karmic debt because of what is, like, in front of them for this new life that they're having. I'm not trying to scare you. Spirit's, like, saying some of you are getting scared and sad out there. Please do not be scared and sad. Like, this is a choice that you guys made, that your souls made before you were born in an Akashic record, right? And the soul's records, you decided that this was something that you both wanted to do to elevate and ascend. And you've probably been, you know, connected, your soulmates, you've been connected for lifetimes, right? Most of us have been with our families. There's also 2 Venus signs, so this could be a little girl. If not, they're going to be, like, ruled by Venus. Their energy is going to be ruled by Venus and the feminine nature. So this little child is, they just told me they're going to swear. They're going to swear when you don't want them to. Okay, this is not, I'm sorry, this is not me. This is Spirit saying you can sometimes have a potty mouth. or often have a potty mouth, and they're going to pick, like, this. I also get the feeling that this isn't going to be your first child. Like, your first child's going to be very different from this child, or, like, if this is your first child, your other children are going to be none of them are going to be like this child. But so, like, maybe if you already had a child and you were able to swear around them, but they understood, like, that's a word that mommy or daddy says, but, you know, you don't say it. It's not going to be like that with this baby. This baby's going to be like, oh, no, like, I'm going to say it because you say it. And I'm not going to listen when you tell me it's not a word I'm supposed to say. So, yeah, their throat chakra is going to be very open. This child is also going to need a lot more affection than any other children you might have. Like, they might just need to decompress and just, like, be held, you know? They might just need to cry and be held. Like, they're going to need physical affection. They're going to need that bodily affection. And also, the Spirit also told me, make sure you protect their body. And please don't send them with any people that are even the slightest bit questionable to you. Like, if you feel like they would be neglectful or abusive or even sexually abusive, if you have any inklings in your mind that your child might not be safe with this person, please don't send them. Please only put your child in the hands of someone that you, like, trust to the death, is what Spirit is saying to me, because this child already has so much turmoil and you know, karmic debt racked up within their little body that they don't really want to take on anymore, and it's going to be up to you to keep them safe. They're going to be very, very beautiful, or very, very handsome, just like a gorgeous a gorgeous human being. And their spirit is going to shine so brightly. Just like I was saying, they were going to have really low lows. Like, their highs are going to be very, very, very high. The way they feel, like I said, they feel pain very strongly. Well, they feel like elated and joy very strongly as well. So, like, there's just a lot of energy. They're just a big ball of spirit just flying around, and they can't even contain themselves. But also know that there's going to be one set, strong guardian angel ancestor that is going to be connected to this child, that is going to help you through everything with them. Everything that you do, everything that they do, this guardian angel ancestor of old. I'm getting Native American a little bit, so if you're Native American, that applies to you, or you might not even know that you have Native American ancestors, but either way, there's going to be a Native American guardian angel ancestor that's going to walk this path with you the entire way and basically hold their hand and hold this child while you're also helping them in the physical realm. Their roots, like, this is an old soul. This is a very, very, very old soul. Like, we have Lilith, equality, and then we have Pomona, plenty. So I think that this spirit hasn't lived too many lives because of the trauma of one or more of their lives. They've needed more recovery time up in, like, heaven, right? Up in the source center. So their soul has had to have a lot of care, a lot of medical help, if you will. You know, it's like healing it. So I think they were alive way back, like BC, Babylonian times. I keep hearing Babylonian in my head, which I honestly don't even really know when that is. But this is an old soul, like Babylonian times. And I think they lived when the earth was very, very young, and then I think they took a really big break, and then I think, because they're so sensitive, they feel so deeply, and then I think they came back in, like, Roman, Greco, is that even that's what I'm hearing in my head, like, Greek, Roman times, and they lived, like, a powerful life then, and then I think they lived in a more recent time, and that's where they were kind of, like, that's where they had their untimely death. But yeah, so that's where their origins are going to be. Italian origins as well, because she reminds me of Venus. Oh yeah, and they're ruled by Venus, so definitely Italian origins. European origins, you know. Venus is the Italian version of Aphrodite, and you have two Venus signs on these cards. And that card just really reminds me of the plentiful, you know, reminds me of Italy. Okay, so what obstacles are you going to face with this child? We got the Ten of Swords and Strength. So this kind of goes back to what I was saying, like the Ten of Swords. Spirit wants you to know the worst is over. The karma that they've collected from their past life is going to affect them deeply and greatly on an emotional and spiritual and physical level, and it's up to you to help them get through that. That could be a challenge for you, but as I said, the worst is over. This means that like there shouldn't really be anything really awful or traumatic that happens in this life with them, like I said, as long as you're able to protect them with that ancestor. But basically they're saying like the worst is over, we're not going to rack up too much more karmic debt, we just got to get through this life. Like that's the plan. It's like if you were doing accelerated like college courses or something. Like you're only allowed to take 4 classes because that's generally what people can handle, right? 4 or 5. And then you decide, well, I'm going to double it. I'm going to take 10 classes because I need to get this done in this amount of time. That's what it's like. So you can handle it, like you can do it. It was approved by source, but it's not going to be easy. So have strength in yourself and help this little child build strength in their self and in their new life, right? Just have strength and have confidence and know that like like I said, you're literally the only person on the planet who can heal this, who could take on this task. And then we have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So this is telling me that, okay, so Spirit just said, if ever you need help with this little one, literally all you have to do is ask. Call upon the spirits of old, the ancient ones, right? And look at her. She's like old Anunnaki. So I think you're an old Egyptian, like Anunnaki spirit. That's where you come from. And you and this soul that you're bringing into the earth, you know, you made a promise to each other a long time ago. And now you're being asked to step up and lead. You're being asked to be the parent to this child who's not going to have it easy, right? So Spirit's just saying, remember who you are, remember who you've always been, remember who you were, and remember your power, and lead with grace and gentleness, and always forgive this baby, no matter what they do, even when they're an adult. Always find it in your heart to let go and forgive, and understand the connection that your souls bear, and understand that you're bigger than all of this and stronger than all of this, and that you will prevail. Wow. All right. Good luck, Group 2. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you feel like it. Like if you feel like it. Comment if you feel like it. And I hope to see you again sometime. Thanks so much. Wow. Okay. So Group 3, your future child, let me tell you, they're going to be like a justice warrior. They're going to be a social warrior. They're going to be like, they're going to be the ones like at the protests with the signs making a difference. This is 100% an indigo child. This is a child that's been born to raise hell, right? To change the old ways and to say like, fuck the authorities, you know, literally flipping everybody off. Fuck you, like, Yeah, this child is born to start a commotion. You literally got the Emperor in Aries, and you got Justice in Libra. So this person's this child's gonna be very charismatic and very likable, and they're gonna have a lot of friends and a lot of people who trust them and follow them, and which is exactly what they need as an indigo, right? Like, indigos are here to change the way it is. They're radical. This baby, this child, this person is going to be very radical. Very closely connected to spirit and very closely connected to totem animals. They might really like birds, or they might really resonate with birds. They might want birds as pets. They're also going to talk to spirit. They're going to divine, and as a young child, they're going to want divining tools. Like, they're going to want their own tarot cards. They're going to want a singing bowl. They're going to want, runes. They're going to love candles, even though they're not allowed to light them. Like, this is an old soul, and from the day they're born, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that they are not terrestrial. They're extraterrestrial, right? They're not just a regular human soul, it's an extraterrestrial soul, and they're going to have a really deep connection to the dark matter that the universe came from. So, like, they're going to have a very strong connection to the nothingness, the primordial energy, the potential energy of matter that doesn't exist yet, that then creates everything that we have now, that we are now, right? They're going to be really connected to that dark abyss, like, nothingness of matter. And people aren't, like, they're not going to meet many people who truly come from the same place they do. Because although we all come from that, we might come from a more watered down version of it. But some of us, our roots run really deep, like Scorpio energy, like still water energy, the dark death energy. That's where they come from. And they might be really attracted to the occult and attracted to even like Satanism or things like that. They're just going to be attracted to the dark because that's what they are. Like, we all come from there, but they really come from there, They're going to have a hard time, like, finding a gray area because their belief system is going to be so strong that they might think in black and white a lot of the time. They might be a poet, they might write music or dance or do things that have to do with music. They might write songs. They might, they're just going to be very creative, but it has to do with music, probably. They might play an instrument. They're gonna, so it's interesting because, like, they're going to be very, very popular. They're going to be very, very successful. They're going to have a lot of money. They're going to have a lot of admirers. They might even be famous in their own right. Like, they might not be a celebrity, but there might be a certain field that they're famous in because they are so good at what they do, because this is not their first rodeo, right? They've lived multiple lives. They are not terrestrial. This human shit is stupid and, like, BS compared to the shit that they know and the shit that they do, right? They are not terrestrial. This is nothing. This is a cakewalk. So everyone's going to like them. Everybody's going to want from them. Everybody's going to want what they have to offer. They're going to be very popular. They're going to have a lot of people around them, a lot of children around them when they're young. Like, people are going to like them. And because of this, they're never going to know who to trust, because there's going to be people there for the right reasons and people there for the wrong reasons. So they're going to choose to be alone. And as an indigo, that's what they really want, right? Like, they need alone time. They're going to be an introvert. They might be an extroverted introvert that really, really needs their alone time. And they, like, although they have all these people who want from them, like, that takes from them, that takes their energy. So they really do just prefer to be alone. And it's important, too, that when they're young, you are able to decipher who's going to be good to have around them and who's not. Like, even if it's, like, you have a friendship with like, an adult, and their child, like, just their energy doesn't mesh with your child's energy. Like, that child might use really negative language, might be really mean and rude, might always make your child cry. Whatever it is, like, you might have to cut off that friendship with that adult at least like where you bring your children around each other, because it's not good for them. And like they're going to be really, once they're an adult, they're going to be really good at cutting out people who aren't there for the right reasons, and they're going to be really good at seeing like people who aren't there for the right reasons. But as a child, they need you to make those decisions for them, and that might mean making hard decisions and losing friends that you've had for a long time. Or, you know, even family. If there's toxic family that does anything to your child that is inappropriate or, you know, just wrong, it might come down to a hard decision where you have to, like, choose your child over someone else. And it's funny because Spirit was telling me this morning, and they just told me again, just because you have history with someone doesn't mean that you even know them or that they're good to have in your life. Just because they've been there a long time doesn't mean they're a good friend. Just because they've been there a long time doesn't mean they actually care about you or have your best interests in mind. Like, they could be using you. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, history doesn't mean anything. Like, it can mean something, but it's not everything. Okay, and this is an old Anunnaki soul. This is an old ancient Egyptian soul. It's Sumerian. Because see, we have the Sumerian goddess here, and then we have 2 Egyptian goddesses here. And so, first of all, I want to say that every other pile got 2 cards. This baby pushed out 4 cards. So not only have they lived lots and lots of lives, like, they just keep living life after life after life. They're kind of like a workaholic, but with a lifeaholic. Like, they just keep getting shit done in multiple lives. But they're also just not going to listen. Like, excuse me. They, whatever you tell them to do, or, like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just not going to listen. They're not going to listen very well at all. Because, like, they have their own ideas, right? They're an indigo. That's what they're sent on Earth to do. They're sent on Earth to rebel. They're sent on Earth not to listen. They're sent on Earth to change the Earth. So, yes, so this soul is very old. They come from ancient Egypt. They also come from ancient Sumeria. And then they did live a life in, like, I think, like, ancient Greece. They lived a life in ancient Greece. And they just told me that when they were in ancient Greece, a lot of the, like, mythological creatures that we can't see today, like, the veil was thinner and they were able to see them through the dimensions. So a lot of that mythology is not mythology. It's true. Like, they actually saw these things, a lot of the people writing about it. So, yeah, so they've seen a lot. They've lived a lot of life. They are a very, very ancient soul, and they have a lot of connections in the astral realms because they have lived so many lives, and they have all these other cultures under their belt, that they have all these, like, creatures and spirits from the different cultures that have their back as well. So they've got a lot of support in the astral realms. Yeah. And, okay, the challenges, challenges that are going to arise. So this human is going to spend a lot of their time daydreaming. They could even be Piscean or have Piscean placements. They're going to spend a lot of their time in the astral realm. They're going to be really bored with the physical realm. They're not going to, like, particularly enjoy being in this 3D physical realm, and they're going to travel a lot. They're going to travel in their sleep astrally. They're going to daydream and travel astrally while they daydream. And they're also going to travel, like, literally anytime they can be traveling astrally and just not be here. But they're going to spend most of their time in the other dimensions rather than in this dimension, because this dimension bores them. So that could be, you know, a challenge when trying to get them to pay attention in school or, you know, anything like that. It's just going to be a challenge to get them to pay attention. Spirit just told me if they're diagnosed with ADD, really think about whether or not you want them to be on the medication for ADD. Really think about what goes into those medications. Really do your research before making a decision about putting your child on such a strong drug. Because those drugs are literally like meth. They're just like meth. And a lot of times, children who are diagnosed with ADD are in reality just intuitive or indigo. And this is an indigo. So, yeah, focusing is going to be a challenge, and also getting them to, like, sit down and work. sit down and do anything. Like their job is not going to be conventional. They might be a diviner. They just told me they're going to do something active, probably. Like they might be a personal trainer. They might be a dancer. They might be in the fucking circus, like on the trapeze. They're going to have an extremely non-conventional, physically active job. They might be a gym teacher, they're not going to sit in an office because that's going to be next to impossible for them. And that's why they don't really like this physical world, because there's a lot of, like, really restrictive, boring physical stuff to do. So this job also, because it's going to be physically active, is going to help them stay in their body and, like, remember they have a body and stay out of the astral realms too much. And your advice, the initiation, rite of passage, you're going somewhere sacred. So, like, this child is going to evolve your soul. This child is part of a soul contract that you made to help you evolve in this life. This child, the Spirit just said, listen, because this child speaks a lot of truth. They're going to say, like, when they're young and when they're, when they're young, they might say things that you're like, how do you know that? It's this intuitive knowing. They're going to be very psychic. Spirit is going to use them as a portal a lot. So, like, listen to the things they're saying because it's coming directly from the source. And look how dark it is. Like what I was talking about, that dark matter. It's coming directly from the source. It's coming from the oldest form of energy. So listen closely to what they say because they're constantly being used as a portal. And understand that this child has come into your life to help evolve you, to help them evolve, and to help the world evolve. So allow them to do so. Also, you can see a lot of the purple here, like I was saying, the indigo. It would be in your best interest to do some good research on indigo children, their purpose, and what it entails to be an indigo child. And yeah, cool. I hope that resonated with you. If you feel like it, give me a like. If you feel like it, subscribe. Comment if you feel like it. All that good stuff. And I'll just say a quick thank you to my spirits. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, and star family and source for allowing me to be the channel through which these messages are able to flow. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for everyone who's kind to me and interacts with me. And I will see you again for some more pick-a cards because people have really expressed that they enjoy my pick-a cards and that they'd like some more. So let's keep the energy going. And yeah, I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.